You got a chair there for support. Welcome to Fitness with Familiar Faces, brought to you by the Parks Board. We're going to start today with just a step forward and step back. Going back and forth. Those arms stay close to the ribs, just like you're walking outside, stepping forward and stepping back. So if you haven't seen a ParQ Plus form in the last year, go check that out on the link that's sent on the emails. If you have seen it in the past year, don't worry about it. But just starting off with back and forth, those are the same muscles used as walking with your front thigh or quad muscles. And the idea is just to get you warmed up, 5 or 10 minutes. Easy movements to start. That's number one. From there, trying to work your hip muscles, same muscles used for balance. You're going to go feet wide. So a wide march. For a wide march, it stretches your inner thighs or groin, especially people that have had a type of hernia. And it trains your outside hip muscles or glutes. And that helps you with climbing stairs or working on your balance, your hip muscles. Once you're in that wide stance, you see you can reach and tap across the body. So reaching and tapping across and across. Stomach muscles pull in a little bit, and that twisting motion trains your rib or oblique muscles. Reaching and tapping out to the side. So we do the marching, we do the stepping, it's easy on the joints, it's a good way to get people moving. It can be done seated as well, where you are tapping or marching in a seated position, and then you reach across the body. Perfect. So we're going to repeat that sequence again. So seeing if you can go into your stepping in front. So stepping in front and tapping back. So back and forth. Those arms can stay close to the ribs. That's option one, especially if there's any knee or back stiffness, stay here. If you want to try a little bit harder variation, for balance, you step and reach. You go back, you switch sides, stepping and reaching. So you try to do opposite arm, opposite leg. You take one step forward and then a knee up, arm up. A little bit harder for balance, and you alternate foot every time you come back up. And that's for your front hip muscles, as well as working on that balance. Option one or option two, stepping back and forth, or with that high march. Then we go back into your wide march or wide stance. So option one, again, wide stance, comfortable for knees, hips, and back. Option two is to add more of a sitting motion or squat. One march, two march. Sitting motion, one march, two march. That's level two. So you do whatever works for you, whether it's just marching, wide stance, option one, or your squat, march, march. 15, 20 seconds each exercise or set. Then we take a bit of a water break. From there, that wide stance and reaching across the body. Reaching and reaching. So there would be your option one. To work on coordination, balance, reaction time. Level two is to do a double time or double take, where it's back and forth, and then you'd switch. That's option two. Works coordination a little bit more. Doing that twice before moving on. Option 2. Yeah. And that brings us to our first break. So if you want to grab some water, go for it. Otherwise, you can stay in that marching position until we repeat for a third round. So grab some water if you need to. Let's see if I can unmute everyone. So we doing okay so far?
Yes. Really good.
Good,
Very good.
So you can stay with the marching if you don't need any water. Otherwise, grab some water and we'll go in about 20 seconds. All right, so we're gonna repeat that sequence. I'm just gonna mute everyone here. So for this one, if you have dumbbells, you can grab them. That can make that a little bit more challenging. But seeing if you start with level 1, stepping back and forth. If you have the dumbbells, you could add a curl every time you step forward. Option 1, especially if there's any knee or back stiffness, soreness, stick here. Otherwise, option 2 was taking your step, coming back, changing the leg, coming forward. That's level 2. More for balance. Alternating the leg that comes back up. And level 3 is the hardest variation. If you play any type of sports, you could try it out. But level 3 would be taking a knee or reverse lunge. That's the hardest variation. If you play tennis, badminton, bicycle ride, then this is an option for you. But you do whichever one works for you. Stepping forward and back, your knee up, or level 3, your reverse lunge. Yeah. From there you go into your wide stance. So we were in the wide stance or the wide march. For this one, the hands can come into the middle, especially if you have dumbbells. So wide march, again, for your outside hips, stretching the inner thigh or groin, option 1. Option 2, into your squat and your 1-2 march. And squatting motions can help also with balance. Can give you more leg strength, so being able to walk for longer distances. And that side view of the squat is where you'd sit down in your chair and come up. So you do the version that works best for you. But all the activities we do in the class help with flexibility and gets you moving a little bit more than just sitting on the couch and coming back up, or a different style of moving than just walking. So different options for you to keep with exercise. From there, you go back into that wide stance and you see if you can reach across and across, reaching out and out. Yeah. If you have the dumbbells, reaching across the body, that would train your front shoulder muscles. And anytime you tap out to the side, just like your squat, just like your wide stance marching, all trains hip or glute muscles. Anytime you do train muscles, it helps to keep your bone density so that if you fall or get hit, the bones are less likely to break, the muscles will bruise. That's why we train muscles for balance to help with bone density. Perfect, so we repeat with different styles of exercise now. So from there, you could put the dumbbells down if you'd like. But seeing if you can put one foot in front and just tapping. So one foot in front, that foot is tapping. Ankle stretches for people that have foot or knee pain while walking. Option 1, foot tapping the ground. Option 2, you have your chair. You can have that foot off of the ground. And that would challenge the balance. Ankle tapping, level 1 on the ground, level 2 off of the ground. You switch sides. That foot taps, level 1, foot off of the ground, level 2. But ankle stretches can be useful before walking or cycling, especially if there is soreness in the knee or foot during your activity. It can help with going lower to the ground if you're gardening outside. Ankle stretches. The next one we go into is your bending motion. So those feet go hip width apart, hands come on the hips, and you see if you can bend those hips back and coming back up again. Feeling that stretch in your hamstrings or back of the thighs. Bending and coming back up. This one is good for people that have stiffness in the low back to practice bending at the hips rather than the low back. Yeah, option 1, leg straight. Option 2 is more of that knee bend. And that is more useful if you are practicing gardening or are used to picking heavier things up from the ground. Option 2. Yeah. And then the third exercise we try, just going back into your row motions. The last one is seeing if you can go into a row and a curl. Pulling exercises can be useful for people that have more rounded shoulder posture. Sometimes it hurts to reach up high. You can still train your shoulders by doing more pulling motion. Adding that knee bend every time you pull. And it's easiest if feet go wide. Yeah, a side view. Yeah. And then that brings us to our second break. So if you want to grab some water, go for it. Otherwise, you stay with that marching pattern. I'm going to unmute everyone here. So we still doing okay, group?
We're so good.
Still there? Okay, good. We're going to give about 10, 20 seconds. Grab water if you need to.
Oh, another drink of water. Oh, that's good.
Oh yeah, everyone's here. Second round of these exercises. I'll mute everyone. Perfect. So we're going to start off with that bending exercise first. If you have the dumbbells, you can use them if you like. But for this one, option 1, keeping those legs straight, sticking the hips behind you, feeling the stretch in the hamstrings or back of the thighs. The weight stay close to your legs. Option 2, adding more of that knee bend so that it allows you to go lower to the ground. And that's beneficial if you are struggling with bending when gardening, or just need a little bit more of a challenge for your hip or glute muscles. So the first one was that bending motion. Yeah, good. From there, you can still use those weights if you like, but going into your row and knee bend. Yeah, just another marching type of exercise where you pull, bring those elbows back, elbows stay close to the ribs, and adding that knee bend. Yeah, Always breathing in, breathing out as you normally do. Yeah. And then the third exercise we did can be done with dumbbells or without, it's up to you, but going into your taps. So tapping that foot on the ground for flexibility of the ankle can help with knee stiffness, foot pain when walking. Option 1, just tapping. Option 2, off of the ground. And again, you have the wall or the chair for support. If you find that very easy, then you can add your curls just to give you some other activity while you're doing the balance. And that always makes balance harder whenever you use some upper body motion while you're trying to balance. You switch your other foot, tapping, level 1, grabbing the chair or wall for support for level 2, or level 3, going into those curls while you practice the balance. Makes it a little bit harder. Yeah, so ankle stretches help with knee and foot. And we repeat that sequence for a third and final time, going back into your bending exercise. So from there, those feet planted, bending and coming back up, knees straight, level 1, knees bent, level 2. Always breathing in, breathing out as you normally would. Feeling that stretch in the back of the legs or your hamstring muscles. Yeah, 15, 20 seconds each exercise. The weights stay close to your body. Into that row and leg curl. So seeing if you can pull and curl or bend at the knees. Yeah. That row or pulling those elbows behind you, good for posture. And then the knee bends, just like marching, to elevate the heart rate a bit. And the last exercise we did can be done with dumbbells or not, back into your tapping. Last one for this 3. Dumbbells or no dumbbells, up to you. Tapping that foot. Option 1, option 2. If you have the dumbbells, option 3 would be going into your bicep curls. Yeah. And then you're going to switch side, other foot. Tapping that ankle or foot off of the ground to work on the balance, or bicep curling up while one foot comes off of the ground. Makes it harder for balance. Yeah. From there, those feet come down, and you're going to see if you can use the frame of your chair to prop a foot on the frame. So to show you, frame of the chair and propping that foot along the frame. That's a stretch for your calf muscle or back of the lower leg. Option 1, that knee is straight. Option 2 is bending that knee into the frame. Because we did ankle type stretches today, the tapping, the squatting motion up and down, that's why we stretch the lower leg. For the exercises, there's 2 types of stretching. So now you switch sides, other foot. Pressing the knee into the frame for a more intense stretch. So there's static stretches, or stretches we don't move, just like the one we're doing here. Good for a cool down after your activity. Or there's moving stretches like our marching, our squatting, our bending. And that can just help to keep you moving for a little bit longer when you do choose an exercise. Yeah, you're good there. Using the frame of the chair, 1 or 2 steps away, bending those hips back. Option 1, going back and forth. And you should feel the stretch in the back of your shoulders, low back, and thighs. Or you can hold it. Always breathing in, breathing out as you normally would. And that's a full body stretch. Stretching the back of the shoulders, which you did with the pulling motion. Stretching the low back, which was used with the bending or the squatting. The twisting. And stretching your hamstrings, back of the thighs. That was used for bending and squatting today. Yeah, and then releasing. From there, seeing if you can go into your runner stretch. Front leg bent, back leg straight. Your back heel stays to the ground. And once you have that motion, open up those shoulders to help with more neutral posture. Or shoulders even. Stomach muscle pulled in, breathing out as you normally would. Then you switch sides. Other leg, front knee bent, back leg straight, opening up those shoulders. Yeah, about 10 more seconds here. Feeling that stretch at the top of the hip, going into the knee, and that's from the marching, going back and forth, and the calf muscle, back of the lower leg. We're gonna repeat these stretches for a second set. I'm just gonna unmute everyone here. Grab some water if you like. So the first one we did was propping your ankle onto the frame. That's a stretch for the calf muscle. Option 1, that leg is straight. Option 2, that knee is bent. But calf stretches can be useful for people that have pain in the knee after walking or pain at the bottom of the foot after walking. The bottom of the foot called plantar fascia. (10 or 15 seconds each one. So that side you switch. Standing calf stretch. Going into your full body stretch for shoulders, back, and legs. 1 or 2 feet steps away. Moving those hips behind you, either going up and down or holding that position. Breathing in and breathing out. Holding it for 15 more seconds there.